Welcome to the Skydive Oz High Altitude Skydive Briefing. The aim of this brief is to inform you on how to perform safe descents from 18,000 feet, to get you familiar with equipment, protocols, and the dangers associated with high altitude skydives. At the end of the brief, you should be able to fit and use the oxygen equipment and to recognize different signs of hypoxia. The APF operational regulations state that descents above 15,000 feet and below 18,000 feet are subject to the following conditions. You must use oxygen above 12,000 feet on your climb to altitude, that you need a minimum of an APF-C license, and all aspects of the skydive must be briefed. For the skydive, each parachutist must have their own oxygen supply. The pilot and the LOADMASTER must have their own independent oxygen supplies. And be aware at 18,000 feet it's usually about 35 degrees colder than at sea level, so be sure to wear warmer clothing. An audible altimeter and an AAD is recommended. Your designated LOADMASTER will check the oxygen supply for each skydiver is working and fitted by 12,000 feet on your climb to altitude, and remind you to remove your oxygen equipment before you exit the aircraft. You must start using the oxygen from 12,000 feet on your climb to high altitude and keep it fitted until the last moment before you exit the aircraft. You can fit the oxygen supply via a mask, directly into your mouth, or via a nasal cannula. Next, we will cover the effects of altitude and some safety precautions to take. Oxygen is highly flammable, so take care when handling metal objects, and as usual, no smoking or fire is permitted aboard the aircraft. And do not use any oil, grease or lip balm, as this can increase the risk of fire. Hypoxia can be lethal, so it's important to be aware of the signs. Some early indications of hypoxia include lightheadedness, euphoria, fatigue, numbness, tingling of your extremities, nausea, blue or pale tinge to the lips or fingernails, and hyperventilation. Some rapid onset signs of hypoxia include confusion, disorientation, hallucination, behavioral changes, severe headaches, breathlessness, reduced or loss of consciousness, and seizures. To treat hypoxia, immediately increase the oxygen rate. Any person showing signs of hypoxia is not allowed to jump, and the aircraft should descend below 10,000 feet immediately. Be aware of the oxygen paradox, where symptoms of hypoxia suddenly worsen after oxygen is given, before they improve. There are a few steps we can take to help prevent hypoxia. Team up with someone and rehearse fitting your oxygen supply. Check hoses for good flow, ensure there's no kinking, and be sure to check each other for signs and symptoms of hypoxia during the flight. Try to keep physical movement to a minimum inside the aircraft and raise attention to the LOADMASTER if you have any doubt. Again, any person showing signs of hypoxia should not be allowed to jump. There are some known factors which increase the risk of hypoxia. These include drug and alcohol, including hangovers. The cold, remember it's about 35 degrees cooler than the ground temperature. And be aware that cigarette smokers, anemics, asthmatics, and anyone suffering from an illness such as a cold are more at risk of becoming hypoxic. Air pressure at 18,000 feet is approximately half the air pressure than that at sea level. So the volume of gases increases, which can cause problems in the sinuses, middle ear, teeth, and gut. As usual for minor sinus pains, yawning and chewing can help. Gases in the gut also expand, so don't be alarmed at the increased rate of flatulence. If you do experience any severe pain, notify the LOADMASTER immediately. All participants should now be familiar with the common dangers associated with high altitude skydiving and the equipment necessary to safely carry out a jump from up to 18,000 feet. At this stage, you should be able to fit and use supplementary oxygen equipment and to recognize the signs of hypoxia. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the DSO immediately. That's all for now. Thank you for listening and enjoy your skydive.